It began with a hook no one could ignore, a quiet morning heavy with sorrow where love had already chosen to wound before it ever healed, because two young women living high above the restless city were slowly being destroyed by the same man without realizing it. Liza and Mara shared a home but not a heart, and between them stood Eli, the man they both loved, the man who unknowingly became the reason their lives bent toward pain. Liza carried a visible scar on her body, a mark left by a past accident that had taught her endurance and silence, while Mara carried an invisible one made of pride, beauty, and the belief that she must always win. From the beginning, the story was sad because love was never equal. Liza loved Eli with patience, choosing understanding even when he neglected her, even when he failed to choose her openly, while Mara loved him loudly and possessively. Convinced that affection was a competition she could dominate, days passed with tension thick in the air. Words became sharp, glances turned cold, and the apartment that once echoed with laughter filled instead with bitterness, until one night the sadness exploded into rage. An argument over Eli turned violent, not because they hated each other at first, but because love twisted into jealousy, and in the heat of broken emotions they grabbed small axes kept in the house for decoration, turning symbols of art into weapons of anger. Fear mixed with heartbreak as they faced each other, not just fighting for a man but for validation, dignity, and the right to be chosen. Liza's scar burned as if reminding her of everything she had survived, and instead of pushing her to hate, it anchored her. Eli rushed in just in time, horrified by what his silence and indecision had created. His voice cracked as he begged them to stop, taking responsibility at last, admitting he had been selfish, that he had allowed their love to turn into a battlefield. The axes fell, tears replaced fury, and in that fragile moment the story began to change. Mara finally saw herself clearly, realizing that love built on winning always ends in loss. She broke down, apologized, and chose to walk away, not defeated but wiser, and in the quiet that followed, Eli turned to Liza, finally seeing the strength behind her gentleness, the courage behind her scar, understanding that true love had been standing beside him all along. The story that began in sadness ended in healing, because Liza chose forgiveness over revenge. Eli chose honesty over fear, and together they built something peaceful, proving that even stories born from pain can end in happiness when love grows beyond pride and violence into truth and compassion.